So originally born in Mexico, came to the States when I was 2 years old, came to Oklahoma when I was 5 and grew up in Norman, Oklahoma. And I really started my professional career at the state capitol, and I worked for 10 years at the state senate, staffing various appropriation subcommittees. And then I spent 3 years working under Governor Henry on his budget, and his state finance director was my final year there. Then I had the great opportunity to come here and work as treasurer and VP of investor relations. And I did that for about eight and a half years. And what was amazing about that is while I was treasurer and vice president of investor relations, I had the opportunity to work on bigger business projects, whether they were brand strategies, human resources, corporate communications. So it was a great experience to be able to garner that experience and knowledge of our industry. Then in April of 2015 became chief financial officer, and then most recently was promoted to president. Really what it was for me is I had had a great career at the state capitol, worked with great people. It was a privilege and an honor to work in that environment, particularly under people like Brad Henry and Scott Meacham. And as I looked across my future, I said, once their term is up, what does my future look like? And I had received my master's in business administration from the University of Oklahoma, so I always knew I really wanted to get into business. And so this opportunity opened up, and it was a combination of, obviously, they gave me the opportunity to come work here, but also when I looked across the landscape at Oklahoma companies that I would want to work for, Sonic was on my short list. For me to enjoy what I'm doing, I have to believe that I'm building part of something, I'm part of something that's bigger, and I'm building something that's bigger than any one individual or corporation. And so to look at the legacy of Sonic and its fact that it started in 1953, it's a conglomeration of independent business people, the story of economic success and the American dream, that was appealing to me as you look at that. 2, the culture. So one of the core values is relationships as a way of life. And I love my job, and you spend a lot of time in your job. And so my question I always ask myself is, if you're going to be spending a lot of time at work, do you like the people you work with? And so as I looked around and met the people at Sonic, and I saw the culture, which was very much one of relationships as a way of life, respect for the individual, providing opportunities, it was very closely aligned with that core value of mine. And then the third reason was, honestly, it was a great growing company. I can't think of being involved in a more fun and serious industry at the same time. I really believe that we're not here just to take up space in this world. And as we look at the one life that we have to live on this world, what's the impact we're making? And we make such a larger impact when we're working together towards building something. So whether it's you're building a community, building a business, you're doing it with people and for something bigger. And in our case, one of the questions I was asked when I started working for Sonic was, it's the hamburger industry. It seems like a kind of a fun, maybe in some cases frivolous. But what you don't appreciate is, again, those independent business people that are behind those Sonic restaurants. These are folks who, in some cases, started off as grill cooks or started delivering bread, and now they may own 230 drive-ins. That's pretty substantial, and that's not only providing economic success for their families, but for other people in that organization and all the jobs that creates, and the opportunity for career growth and economic independence is a wonderful thing. Well, because one of the other reasons I was attracted to Sonic as one of the Oklahoma companies is that there was clearly, as you looked at the leadership team that Cliff had in place, you could see a very balanced leadership team, and one in which there was clearly not a ceiling or any implied barrier for opportunities and career growth. And that's important. You want to look for that. And when you look at, and this is something that I find notable, not just for a company in Oklahoma, but quite frankly for a national company, when you look at our executive leadership team, we are very well balanced with respect to gender. You do not see that even on a national level when you think about the East Coast or the West Coast. And that's really a testament to Cliff Hudson's leadership over time as he's developed that. But that is an important consideration and something that he's cultivated very intentionally. When you think about the benefits of having balanced leadership and the commitment to that and having diversity of thought, then what you facilitate is good, healthy conflict, discussion, and debate. And what that facilitates and cultivates is the best possible solution and outcome. So when you have an environment where people are free to explore different ideas and look at things from different perspectives, and they know that their voice is going to be heard and their insights are meaningful and are making a contribution, then once you have those healthy discussions and debates, at the end of it, whatever the outcome is or whatever the decision, you have a much higher degree of confidence that you have explored everything there is to explore and that you've come to a good final decision.